Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. It is Veterans Day, and I'm back in my regular uniform. Only my special shirt just for Marine Corps birthday. I'm back to my regular name on my shirt day, as I seem to always be in. But yes, I am back, and happy to have you with me this evening. I wanted to bring up a couple of things about veterans. There are some issues that some people may or may not know. They may not think that it matters either way. There are some things I want to bring up, if I could, some things that are kind of, I think, important. And that is, many veterans, when they come back, particularly if they were in combat, but even if they weren't, many of them have invisible injuries. It is actually clearer when someone has an obvious physical injury, loss of a limb, shattered bones or face. At least at that point, you can go, okay, I see the injury. I can somehow address it, whatever case may be, whatever it might be. When they don't have an obvious injury, sometimes we can take it for granted and go, oh, good, you're good, no worries. With that in mind, many of them have either TBI or PTSD, depression, something like that. Many of them do. Not all, of course, it's not every veteran at all, but many do. What you should be looking for, if you have a veteran in your life that you care about, is, are they withdrawing? Are they withdrawing? There was an interesting piece from a movie that I saw years ago. The movie wasn't that great, but it's an interesting movie. It was called 30 Days of Night. Odd where I'm going, but you'll get it as I walk down this road. For some of you may remember, it's an idea that vampires want to find a place that they can live. Well, they find that the Barrow, Alaska is the most northern town in America, and it's nighttime for like 6 months. So the vampires go, hey, let's go move there because it's nighttime and the sun won't kill us because we're vampires. I know, funny, but anyway, that's the movie. Anyway, so I think Ethan Hawke is in it, if not mistaken. Anyway, the part that I care about, not that part, I don't care about the vampire part. The part I care about it is, it's Alaska. And people are, desperate all over the place. And one guy drives in to get his mail because there's no mail carrier that goes out to his, wherever he lives. So he has to drive in every once in a while and pick up his mail. So when he goes to pick up his mail, he gets a ticket. And one of the people goes to the sheriff, why are you giving this guy a ticket, right? He comes in once a month to get his mail. He makes a mistake. Why are you giving him a ticket, right? And the sheriff says, I don't even care if he pays a ticket. He goes, I just want him to know that he's part of us. And while that seemed kind of weird, right, and kind of mean, I got the concept that even though this guy was alone on his own, he was still part of a society, right? Sheriff didn't care if he paid it. He just wanted to be like, yes, you're dealing with it, right? That kind of thing. And so why do I bring this up? Because there are many veterans who feel like they're not part of the community anymore. They feel like they've been changed. Julie just asked about which veteran you're talking about. Men? I think either, Julie, either. I think you can work with either one. This can be either one. This is not a male. I know yesterday's show was like male, female stuff. I know it was. This one is not. This one's not. I'm asking you, if you have a veteran who you think is starting to kind of become introverted more than they used to be in some way, shape, or form. If you care, I'm asking you to try to bring them into your world. And here's how I want you to do it. I don't want you to do it and say things like, I'm scared, I'm worried for you. Don't do that. They do not want your pity. It's not helpful. If they're not in trouble, they're not going to understand why. They might just be introverted. I'm not saying they're in trouble, but if you think maybe they're in trouble, If they're not in trouble, you're like, why are you doing this? I'm not in trouble. If they are in trouble, it will put them deeper. It will put them deeper if they are in trouble. So don't say you're afraid or worried or concerned. Just say something like, I'd like to have you here. We need you here. You're part of our family. You should be here. That style of communication, whatever works best between you and your loved one. But not a, I'm worried about you. Not a, I'm scared, or you need to, or you should because you're in trouble. You have to have friends. None of that stuff. That is not going to work. Instead, take the onus on yourself. You would like that veteran to be here. You want that person to be involved. You need them to show up. It's important to you. Let them know they're needed. Look, you're making me look bad. I feel terrible. Please hook me up. Show up. I need you to be here. Most veterans want to be part of the community again. If they're in trouble, again, I'm not assuming every veteran's in trouble, but some of you may know people who are or think they are. Do this. If they respond happily and don't care, whatever, then they're doing fine. They're just introverted, and that's fine. Lots of people are introverted. They don't like all this stuff. All good. No worries. But if they are in trouble, and you're the one who says, hey, I need you to show up to this thing. Can you help me? I need you to help me with this. Can you be here, please? You'll watch them begin to show up and begin to integrate again. So if your vets are doing fine, awesome. Life is good. Keep going on. But if you think there are veterans in your life that aren't doing so fine, do not give them pity. They don't want your pity. Do not be sad for them. They don't want you to be sad for them. What they want is to be needed and part of a community. So give them that. Literally give them that. Tell them you need them. Tell them you want them. If they're having an invisible injury, this will help them open up about it if it's true. Again, when most veterans come home, it's fine. The problem is for the percentage who don't come home, it's really bad. That's the issue. Most are fine. Come home, deal with all their issues, fine. But the percentage that isn't, it can be really bad. And so I want you to be able to, okay, I'm not sure. Here's how I communicate. Here's how we bring them. Next piece, if you don't mind me bringing this up. When you deal with veterans who have been in combat, when you deal with veterans who have been overseas, the most common thing we say is, thank you for your service. And I get that. It's not a bad thing to say. It isn't bad. People say all the time. Here's an issue you might deal with when some vets, particularly those who've been in combat and those who've lost somebody or watched somebody be hurt. This is going to sound crazy if you're not a vet. You may not get this, but hopefully if you know many vets, you will. When you say thank you for your service, they sometimes feel like they haven't done enough. I'm serious. Because they lost somebody or saw somebody be hurt, and they think, why didn't I? Why wasn't it me? How come I couldn't have helped? So sometimes saying that can be challenging. You don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it can happen sometimes. And how will you know? Watch how they respond. That's how you'll know. If you go thank you for your service and they go, oh, great, whatever. That's fine. They don't care. All good. But if they go, or don't know how to react or become odd or weird when you say it, if you find that in the vet, that's probably what happened. They feel like they haven't done enough. Like their service was not enough. That's how they often feel. So what I often say to people, and this works very well if they're an older vet, Vietnam era specifically. If you know someone's a Vietnam era vet and you meet them, just say a simple phrase and they'll get it. And that phrase is, welcome home. That's it. Vietnam vets get that like this. They go, you get it. That's the phrase for Vietnam vets. You can use that phrase for other vets too, right? The phrase is very specific. Do not change the phrase. It is very specific. It is simply, welcome home. Don't add or subtract anything. Those two words. If they are a Vietnam vet, they will like, you get me. Now, a Vietnam vet, it's still good, still works. They still get it, still works. I'm not saying you shouldn't use thank you for your service. Everyone does. It's fine. But if you know someone who reacts oddly, if that happens, it's probably what I said. Shift it next time, or say something nice, whatever. Or if you know someone is a Vietnam era veteran because your friend told you, oh, that guy did time in Vietnam, use welcome home. They will love that, eat that up. It's a very special thing. And of course, one of the reasons why, if you know many Vietnam vets, they literally did not get that when they came back. The Vietnam vets were treated so horribly when they got back. We as a country should be embarrassed by what we did to our Vietnam vets. It was a horrible thing. I know, as I told you, if you listened to my show yesterday, most of my senior leadership when I was in the Marine Corps, they were Vietnam vets, and they were treated terribly. So we need to do that, right? We need to be able to understand those three things. That's why I brought that up front. If I could, before I go into a deeper story, it is Vietnam. It is Veterans Day, and I wanted to cover that. Let me grab a couple of comments if I could before I go further. I'll grab a couple. Joseph, thank you for being a member, my friend. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, Larry, Mike, and others who've served. Thank you. I do appreciate that tremendously, my friend. Yes. All righty. Matt, also a member. Well, I was going to watch game dev videos and work on my project, but thanks to Larry, no, I'm not. I do take up a lot. I'm kind of fun. Yes. George said the song sounds like KMFDM. That is a German band, but this band is not. This band is a band called Encephalon, and it is a Canadian band. The name of the song is Rise, and I actually have permission to use it. So yes, I may use the entire song if you want to. I liked it because when I first started this kind of run in 2018, I was trying to rise up New York. So I thought it was a kind of cool song. That's why I used it. So yes. All right. Matt goes on to say, Veterans Day inspired me to finally start finishing Band of Brothers. Great series, by the way. Absolutely. Peace Logic. Hello, everyone. Happy Veterans Day. I do appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Let's see if I can grab a couple more of these. Let's see here. Jacob says, I think that veterans will be more appreciated under this conservative cabinet because the right priding its military is the norm, but probably screwed over still to bid. Maybe. I will cover that in a moment. I will go into that. I just want to keep going down here. Julie, you said, which veterans are you talking about? Men. And then you said, really, as a female veteran today, I feel extremely not in the club. Oh, okay. Let me cover that piece, Julie. You bring up another very good point that I should bring up. What I said was generic, right? Generic. That if you are a veteran and now you come back into the world, you could feel like you're not in the club. There is a even more difficult piece as a female veteran, which I think what you're alluding to. If I'm wrong, please correct me, Julie, but what you're alluding to. When you're a female in the military, particularly if you're like in the Marine Corps, where it's heavily ground-based, very few women, a very machismo environment, particularly in the Marine Corps, you're not in the club even when you're in the club, right? It's very rare that women get to feel like they're in the club when they're in the club. They often aren't. Yeah, I think it's a very valid point. So when female veterans come out, the assumption is the problem is with the male veteran. And it's true statistically because there are just so many more male veterans. So statistically, it's true, Julia. No shade on you. The numbers is what I'm saying. The sheer numbers, most of the homeless veterans are males. Most of the males PTS, most of the veterans of PTS are males. Most are. Women have it too, though. Your point's very valid. And sadly, for many of us, which is why I was saying men and women, most people don't look at female vets the same. I wish I was wrong, but you're right. It's true. The average American doesn't look at female vets the same way. They don't. It's true. So I think you can come out a female veteran who has PTSD or TBI or some invisible disease or some invisible affliction, I should say. It's not a disease, maybe affliction. I'll say that. Some invisible affliction is often pushed away. And what you'll often find the female vet do is she'll fall directly into caregiving and sacrifice herself in her caregiving. That's a common problem for female vets. So let me walk down that road. If you see a female vet come home and have that same problem, often what she will do is she will form some form of caregiving and become self-destructive in her caregiving by not caring about herself. So if there's a child to take care of, an older relative, a sick family member, she will go into that world. If you see her doing that, Same thing applies. Hey, Julie, I know you're taking care of whatever. Uncle Jimmy, who's sick. We need you over here too. We need you. Jimmy's sick, I know. We need you over here too. You got to come over here too. And when you get her away from Jimmy, now when she's with Jimmy, you get away from Jimmy, now you got to talk to her about self-care. That's not going to go over well at all while she's with Jimmy. Not going to go over well. She's got to be with somebody else, helping somebody else out. Now when she's helping somebody else out, you say, yeah, you got to help people out. And Julie's going to say, I can't. I spend all my time with Jimmy. You got to take care of yourself. You don't take care of yourself, you can't help us all out. There's more out here. It's not just Jimmy. This is how you will move her in that specific situation. Julie, was I wrong in what you were saying? Please let me know if you're still watching. I think that's what you were talking about. Please let me know if I covered that correctly. I think that's what you were talking about. So I hope you're still watching. So yeah, there we go. That was good. Joseph says, my vet friends often like being asked for help, be part of something, or help teach something. Yes, that's exactly right. They want to be. What many veterans feel when they come back is they're no longer part of that crew or team, or, as Julie said, not in the club. Well, now you get asked to jump in. They love it. They want to help. They want to serve. They want to serve. They want to be in. That is how you will assist them in that world, right? Easily. Joseph says, sometimes my younger vet friends who haven't seen combat will shrug it off. I didn't do that much. I'm hugely grateful for their service anyway, but I get it. Yeah, it depends on the person. Kim goes on to say, Vietnam vets treated so badly when they got home. Absolutely. It was terrible. Yes, absolutely. It was terrible. So yes. Matt says, a lot of what's the difference between Army and Marines. The Army was created, for you guys to know, back in 1775, and it was created to fight a land war. That's what it was made for. Massive land war, all of that. The Marines were not created that way. The Navy, it was just the Army and the Navy. The Navy, of course, existed, and the Navy was full of sailors who knew how to sail ships and how to fire cannon, right? They could sail the ships, fix the ships, and fire cannon. The problem was, when the ships would come on board with each other, they'd fight ship to ship. Well, the sailors did not do that. They weren't trained for that. They weren't trained for firearms. They were trained for cannons and how to fix the ship and how to sail the ship. So who's going to fight ship to ship? Not just that. How about when you need to take your ship into a port and capture the port and hold the port and hold everything? How are you going to do that? Sailors can't do that. They don't do that. They're not trained for that. What do? You get Marines. Marines were initially trained to come aboard and not to sail the ship, but to fight on the ship. So ship to ship. If you remember, there are many, many stories about this in the Marine Corps legend. They called leathernecks. There was a leather guard they used to use that was to help them protect them from saber shots, right? Because they would cross over. They're the guys who would swing across from one ship to the other with a saber and pistol, right? That kind of thing, right? Leatherneck, saber and pistol. If you see the officers in Marine Corps, they have an embroidered cross on the top of their cap. What was that for? That was when the Marine Corps sharpshooters who were on top in the crow's nest and would shoot down at the people fighting ship to ship, they would know who to shoot and who not to. So whoever had the cross, oh, don't shoot him, that's a Marine, shoot the other guy. That's what that would come from. So the history of the Marine Corps is fighting ship to ship and capturing ports and holding forts so that ships can come in. It was defense of the Navy, offense of the Navy. That was not shipping. That's what the Marine came for. And that's why the Marine Corps was built under the Navy. The Air Force was built under the Army because the original goal of the Air Force was to support the Army on the ground. That's what it was made for. That's why it was an Army Air Corps. Same idea. The Air Force was to support the Army. The Marine Corps was to support the Navy. I hope that answers your question. By the way, the Marine Corps was created in Tun Tavern, Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. So there we go. You didn't have to Google that. Gave you a good idea. All good. Let's see if I can grab that piece. I think Adrian goes on to say, Vietnam was a miserable war to fight. And with the draft, I think more might have come home, having a hard time adjusting. I think guerrilla wars are even more difficult psychologically than World War I and World War II. The difference, I think, completely is twofold, right? And I knew people like this. When you came home from World War I or World War II, you came home almost as a massive unit on a big ship or something like that. And you showed up in a port and people were there and they would clap and go, yay, and say, oh my God, the heroes are home. Everybody would be there. They give you hugs, parades. It was yay. It was just amazing. People loved it. Of course they did. When you came home to Vietnam, You did a year or two in Vietnam. You didn't come home as a hero because the war wasn't over. So what'd you come home as? Some guy who fought someplace for a year. You came home on a jet, maybe by yourself, maybe by others. There was no parades for you. You came home in drips and drabs. And there were protesters there calling you a baby killer and terrible person, spitting on you. Yeah, I remember one guy told me a story. He said when he landed in California, he still had dirt on his boots from the Vietnam jungle. That's how fast he came home. That was it. No parades, no nothing. That was it. Yeah. So he says, yep, you covered that. Good. Oh, good. Thank you. You're welcome. I thought that's where you're going. You know, one of the reasons why I like doing this live is that people like Julie can say things that I might have missed, right? That I might have missed, which I missed. And she was like, no, how about this? Go ahead. Yeah. Mike says, hey, Mike, good to see you here. My dad was a Vietnam Marine, volunteered, never the same after, and lifelong PTSD. Yep. Our nation needs to do so much more to reintroduce military back to civilian life. Just leaving service is a problem. 100%. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Excuse me. P says, sorry about that. Oh, to right. No disrespect. Matt, my father's a Vietnam veteran. There we go. He passed away recently. I miss him. Yeah, we know the Vietnam vets were treated terribly, right? We know that. Yes, absolutely. Dave says, Larry, you saying the Marine Corps was created by a bunch of alcoholics? Probably. So what? Maybe it's possible. So yeah. Peekaboo says, thank you for the history lessons. I try to give them whenever I can. I do. I try whenever to give them whenever I possibly can. I try to make it interesting. I hope it's interesting. That those little pieces that are interesting on Marine Corps history and such, right? You'll find two other things, by the way. You'll find that, someone earlier talked about, being more conservative. All naval services are more conservative than land services. Seriously. Navies and Marines are more conservative than Army and Air Force. Army and Air Force tend to be much more conscription-based, more Lamass people. Naval tend to be more elite, generally speaking, and something else. A naval unit and naval units are built not upon process, but upon tradition. Tradition is critical in the Navy. So that's why you'll see often that's how that works. All right, let me go into the part that I wanted to talk about. I want to do some veteran stuff because I always do. It is Veterans Day, but then I do want to go into the actual idea of today. Before I do that, guys, please, I'm going to ask you, click the button known as like. It does matter tremendously. Click it all day long. Please click it. It really does matter tremendously. It's how I move forward. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, please share it. And also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe if you're on YouTube, either YouTube, I don't care which one. Super chats always go to the front, so please super chat me if you can. I try to keep members up front whenever I possibly can. If you want to become a member, click that join button on YouTube. Become a member, $5 a month, keeps me going. And I've done how many shows in a row? Like 9 in a row or something like that. I'm crazy. I gotta stop doing these damn shows. But I keep doing them because I know you guys like them. I enjoy them too. I want to keep this community moving forward, so I keep doing shows. So please click the button known as like. If you want to join, it does help tremendously. I then want to move on, if I could, though. And that is to a couple of things that are happening that may affect vets. The biggest one that everyone's talking about right now is that Trump has said no Mike Pompeo or Nikki Haley. Now, a lot of you thought I was nuts when I said Nikki Haley's not coming in. I told you guys that a long time ago. She's not coming in. I told you she's not, right? I knew she wasn't. She knew she wasn't. She was talking trash, hoping that Trump lost so that she could pick up the pieces and become the new savior of the Republican Party. Well, sadly for her, that did not happen, but that was her goal. She knew the second Trump won and, how he literally just won so decisively that she was done for. She knew that. So she was not surprised. Pompeo may not. And the thing that people don't understand, and let me give you another history lesson if I could. So like find the actual year. I think it was like the early 80s. I think it was the early 80s. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton actually became the governor of Arkansas very young, in his 30s, became the governor of Arkansas. At that time, I don't know if it's still true, but at that time, the governorship of Arkansas was only a 2-year term, 2 years, and you had to go again. When he won, he thought, oh my God, I'm the awesomest guy. I'm going to come in, change everything. And he came in with all of his hippies, his band of hippies. I'm not joking. He came with his band of hippies and wanted to change everything in Arkansas. And the Arkansas people said, what? No. 2 years later, threw him out. He lost that election. A lot of people don't know this. But Bill Clinton is smart. You may not like him. You may like him. Bill Clinton is smart either way. Whether you like him or not, the man is smart. So he decides, all right, lesson learned. Change my ways. I'm going to try again. And after losing, he went back and won and became governor of Arkansas again. People didn't know that. That's true. Learned his lesson. Came in, became a whole lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Establishment? A whole lot more establishment. Absolutely. He became more establishment, and that helped him out. Okay, why do I say that? Trump has a similar but different problem. Trump came in not prepared in 2016. He was not prepared, and he was stuck with a whole lot of swamp creatures and had to get rid of them, move them, shift them. Somebody didn't know what was going to do. Took him years to get people appointed, had to just make people acting directors, blah, 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 blah. All those issues, ton of those issues, a lot of those issues, tons of them. And then he lost, just like Bill Clinton. And then he turned around, changed some things, came back, and then he won, just like Bill Clinton. The question is, what will Trump do now? What will Trump do now? It's not the same, but it's similar, is what I'm saying. It's similar. Now, the thing Trump has to do now is actually the opposite of what Bill Clinton did. He's doing the opposite. Bill Clinton came in and thought, I can do whatever I want, threw everybody out, brought in his band of hippies. And the country said, get out. Get out. I'm sorry, the state said that. Trump had the opposite problem. Came in, didn't have enough of his own people, brought in half of the swamp, if not most of the swamp, and then now what I'm doing. Now he's coming in going, I don't want to swamp no more. He's going to bring in his band of hippies, whoever, right? I mean, I never call them hippies, but yes, his band of hippies. Will it work? Will it work? And the best example of that right now is Pompeo and Haley. These guys are clearly part of the old school neocons. And he openly said they're out. Now, why did he openly say they're out? And that's the important piece. Why did he simply not pick them? He did not have to make an announcement. But he did. He could have just not picked them. Wasn't required to announce it. But he did. Why do you announce it? I think you won't know. He's sending a signal. He's sending a signal. No more neocons. He's sending a signal. Now, who's behind it this time? Well, I got the thing that I'm hearing, which is funny, and I don't know this to be true. I kind of believe it because I've heard it from like 7 different people. That's why I think it's true. But to be forward, I do not have direct knowledge. It seems like Don Jr. is really involved in this. And that surprises me. I didn't think he'd be so involved in this. But, I mean, maybe he's not. This is just rumors I'm hearing from many people. I actually don't know this, but that's what I hear. And I think that's true. Only because so many people have told me this. I think it's true. Now, does that mean Trump's going to bring in his full band of hippies? No. I know some of you would like that. Some of you would be like, bring in all the new people, get rid of all of them. It's not going to happen. He's going to keep some neocons in. He's going to keep some established people in. There's going to be some swamp creatures. I know some of you don't like to hear that, but it's going to be true. It is, right? His chief of staff now, is it Wiley is her name, I believe? Chief of staff. She's establishment. Absolute establishment. So, yeah, some of them going to come in, right? She is bringing some people in. So Mike goes in. Mike, thank you. The new Trump team seems very focused on being effective, though Stefanik is established. Stefanik is establishment. Yes. Now, how is this kind of stuff going to affect veterans? Generally speaking, there are 3 things veterans have to be concerned about in this area. 3, generally speaking. There will be some exceptions here or there. But the first one is going to be the VA. How is the VA going to affect the veterans? Right? What's going to happen with the veterans? How's it going to affect the veterans? How's it going to affect them? Is it going to get better, worse? Now, to be forward, the VA's been having trouble, and Trump was better than others with the VA. He did improve the VA. It's true he did. It wasn't great, but he did improve it. I'm going to give him that 100%, give him credit for it. He did improve it. Most veterans would say it. They would believe it. I heard it from veterans personally. He made it better. Still not great. Can he make it better is the question. And I hope he can. And I think the person that would be great to put him in charge of that would not be a bureaucrat. It would not be a bureaucrat. And I'm hoping he does that. So VA is piece number one. Piece number two, will he support Defend the Guard? Defend the Guard was supported by RFK Jr. For those who know what Defend the Guard is what has happened across America, the National Guard. The National Guard isn't actually, okay, depends how you look at this. Let me just say it. There is some nuance here. The National Guard isn't actually national. The National Guard is run by the state and the governor owns it. However, right now, what we've done is we've effectively just given the National Guard to the president, and the president uses it whenever he or she wants to. Defend the Guard says, no, you may not use the National Guard in except one case. When the Congress declares war. That's it. If the Congress does not declare war, the Guard does not go to the president. The Guard is still run by the governor, and that's it. And you go, why does that matter? Because if you do that and you pass that, there simply aren't enough large enough military for us to be fighting wars all over the place. The forever wars have to end unless the Congress literally declares war. Literally declares war. And that hasn't happened since 1942. Last time America declared war was 82 years ago. Yes, yet we've been in war for the past 82 years. So yes, we haven't declared war in 82 years. That's the last time we declared war. And we declared war, by the way, you guys want a history lesson, I'll tell you who we declared war on. We declared war on Germany's allies, Romania, Hungary, and Bulgaria. That's the last time we actually declared war. And a little tidbit, for some of you who know this, there was another German ally we did not declare war on, and that was Finland. Finland was allied with Nazi Germany, fighting Russia. We did not declare war on Finland. We did declare war on Romania, Hungary, and Bulgaria. We did declare war on those. That was 1942. Last time we did that. So that's the Defend the Guard movement. If that happens, that will assist us tremendously. That will force Congress to have to declare war and take responsibility for these wars, which they do not want to do. And it will stop presidents from just sending troops all over the place. So that's the second piece that I hope happens. VA, Defend the Guard. Third piece is how we deal with international relations, to include the UN and NATO. Those two also. How do we deal with those two, right? That piece does make a difference. Gino, what are you doing here on my super chat? I'm talking about vet stuff. I'm glad you're here, though. Hey, stranger, he says, come by my stream tomorrow. Yep, send me a link. I'll be in. Tell me what time. Yep, 100%. Send me a link and time. I'll be there, brother. Of course I will. Every day. Gino, by the way, is insanely funny. I've been on his crazy show more than once. He always embarrasses me, but I still go. I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. I still keep going. So please check out Gino Bisconti if you would. He does a lot of funny stuff. Thank you for that, Gino. I appreciate it. Yes. Hold on. I have a couple more people who want to grab something real fast. All righty. Matt says, how do we declare war on their allies, not Germany themselves? I'll tell you why. Boy, we're doing history today. We never declared war on Germany. We didn't. People don't know this. Believe it or not, Newt Gingrich wrote a book on this called 1945. It's a novel. Yes, I know, crazy stuff. What actually happened, for some insane reason, Hitler declared war on us. If you remember FDR's speech, when he said, December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy, I ask that the United States Congress declare war against the Empire of Japan. Not against Germany. He didn't ask to declare war. We didn't declare war. We declared war on Japan because they attacked us. We didn't declare war on Germany. 2 days later, Germany declares war on us. Churchill was so happy he couldn't believe it. Actually, true story. So if Germany didn't declare war on us, we weren't going to go to war with Germany. And we always go, we fought to stop the Nazis. No, they declared war on us. We didn't care about them. We cared about the people who attacked us. We never declared war on them. That's how it didn't happen. Matt, Hitler declared war on us. The book 1945, written by Newt Gingrich, believe it or not, is about in his fictional story, his alternate history. The H-man is in an accident, a car accident, something accident, where he goes into a coma for a couple of days. That's what happens in his book. And so he never declares war on America. So he doesn't declare war on America, and America beats Japan, Germany beats Russia, and that's how the war ends. The war ends when Britain surrenders after Germany beats Russia in his book, and there's a Cold War, Germany and America, and they're trying to figure out who can make the bomb first, because America never made the bomb because it didn't need it. It could easily beat Japan. So America beats Japan without the bomb, and Germany beats Russia in his book. So now there's a Cold War in 1945 with both Germany and America trying to make the bomb, all because of that. You guys got me going down a weird road. I know. I apologize, but yes. Sarah, Larry came to say hi to my parents. They're watching. Their names are John and Dana. John, Dana, thank you so much for watching. Sarah is amazing. She shows up to so many of my shows. She asks really savvy questions and also has great comments. And she even comments after the show, and we go back and forth sometimes. So I'm very happy to have her here, and I'm glad you are here. Hopefully you will enjoy the show. Something cool, I hope. I just kind of talk about stuff. So hopefully it'll be interesting, and you'll be watching too. Thank you for being part of this. So Peace Logic, thank you for the $5 super chat. So it isn't illegal for us to be in all these wars we're in right now without Congress approving and declaring war. So isn't it? Yes, that's what libertarians have been saying for decades. Yes, they use what's called the AUF, which is absolute bogus. It is the authorization to use force. They say, well, we did that. They made that up. That's not in the Constitution. That's not real. And the same AUF we use, I'm not joking, from 9/11, we use for everything else. We use the one from 9/11 to go into Syria. Because bad guys, I guess. Yes, Patriot Act, AUF allows us to put troops everywhere. Think of all those guys who are dying in Mali. We use it for Mali. We had 5 soldiers die last year in Mali. We used it in Mali. Who said you'd be in Mali? AUF. I'm sorry, AUMF. Authorization to use military force. Yeah, that's right. AUMF. Yes. Useless. Not in the Constitution. Utterly made up. Congress makes up rules all the time. No one ever stops them. Our judiciary is an embarrassment. Our judges are embarrassing. They stop nothing. They are supposed to be the people who defend the Constitution and stop the brain-dead chimps from making dumb laws and rules. They go, you can't do that. It is unconstitutional. And judges go, okay, you made a law. I guess okay. So they do. It's embarrassingly bad. So yes, it is illegal, unconstitutional to be in all these wars. That's correct. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yes. We had no way to go into Korea. None to go in Vietnam. None. We just went. Because I guess we're going. Grenada, none. Just going to Grenada. Iraq, none. At least Afghanistan, we did have an authorization in the use of military force. So we had an AUMF, which still is garbage, but we had that at least. Syria, nothing. Just went. Mali, nothing. Just went. Libya, nothing. Just went. Just went. We're going to go in. Yugoslavia, nothing. Just went. We're going in. Cuba, Bay of Pigs, nothing. I mean, we didn't really go, but kind of. So, yeah, nothing. Just went. Yeah. That question of war. It's for chumps. Come on now. Looking over at Rumble, Americua says Pax Americana has died of natural causes because of neglect and avarice. Yes. Today we need a foreign policy of today, not a bygone era. I agree, but here's your problem. While that sentiment is wonderful, we have a military-industrial complex that fuels us. So if we are not at war, someone else must be at war. This is how you know we're an empire. Remember something. Countries are afraid of war. Because you lose a war as a country, you're in trouble. Japan, Germany, Italy are good examples of this, right? You lose a war, you're in trouble with your country. If you're an empire, you're always at war. Wars are how you work. That's what you do. Every empire is always at war. Losing a war, who cares? America hasn't won a war since 1945. We didn't win Vietnam. We didn't win Afghanistan. We didn't win Iraq. We didn't win Korea. We didn't win any of these. I mean, maybe a draw at best. We didn't win any of those wars. We haven't won a war since World War II, yet we've been at war the entire time. Empires are always at war. The British Empire, always at war. Roman Empire, always at war. Chinese Empire, always at war. Egyptian Empire, always at war. American Empire, always at war. Empires are built upon war. We are an empire. I wish we weren't, but we are. Your point is very well taken. Dr. Thunder, thank you for the $5. What are your thoughts about this liberal meltdown post-election? How can it not be? Seriously, how can it not be? You have been told that the other side, literally the N-words, not that N-word, the German N-word. Yes, they're literally the N-word. That's who they are, right? Led by the H-man with the funny mustache himself, right? Himself. You're told you're going to lose. They were told there's no elections anymore. Remember that? Didn't Oprah tell us that? There's not going to be any more elections. It's over. The elections are over. It's done. No more democracy. They were told that every single day for days on TikTok, on Facebook, on CNN, on MSNBC. So, of course, if you lose, you think it's the end of the world. I was joking out of Thunder when I was joking with about Harris going, and we've told the president we'll help him, transition. Like, you told him he's literally Nazi Germany. That's what you told him. Now, look, if I'm running against, I don't want to get canceled on YouTube, so the Austrian dictator with the funny mustache took over Germany. If I'm running against him and he wins, I'm not helping him build the camps. I'm not helping him make the trains run on time to put the people in trains. I'm not doing that. I'm not helping him. Why would I? He's a monster. If I lose to him, I don't know, I'm going to the woods and fighting or leaving the country or something. I'm not going to be part of that. She said, no, be part of it. You just said he was the H-man with all the N-words. You just said that. Why are you helping him? Are you a collaborator now? Makes no sense. Of course they melt down. Of course they melt down. They have to accept what just happened. The world just ended. I mean, it didn't. Clearly it didn't. Clearly there'll be, and I said it to everybody here, there'll be elections in 2 years. Another elections in 4 years. Yes, the world's not ending. Regardless, neither one of them was going to stop elections. That wasn't going to happen, right? So I think it's expected. I think it had to happen. Hopefully, this is my only hope, is that their shaving of their heads and things like that, they'll eventually realize how silly it was. That is my hope. They may not, but my hope is they'll realize how silly it is. And they'll come back and say, wow, I was very silly. They won't admit being wrong, but they'll at least go, wow, I was silly. I won't do that again. And they'll come to reality and realize this wasn't the end of the world. But that's what I think of it. I hope I answered your question at least. So, yes. So, I went down a bunch of roads, didn't I? Okay. Again, this is Wolfenstein. Oh, I like that. Wolfenstein. I remember that. Yes. John says, interesting alternate theory. I might have to get the book. I did. I actually bought a book. It's probably 20 years old now, more. So, yeah, I did. I actually bought the book a while ago, and I actually read it. That's how I know it. Believe it or not, there's hold on, who's in that book? There's a folk hero in that book. I think it's Sergeant York. Yeah, I think he has the World War I Sergeant York hero. I think he's in the book as one of the heroes. I don't want to give you details, but like there's like an espionage piece, like the Germans trying to steal our secrets, or we're trying to steal their secrets. It's that kind of interesting, but it's not a bad book. It's not great, but it's not bad. So, yes. All righty. Matt asks, what are the chances Trump repeals the Patriot Act? Can he even do that, or is it a Congress thing? It will be a Congress thing to be repealed, but he could push it. Right now, it looks like Trump is going to control Congress also. It looks very good. He's going to have good. So he may be able to do that. It's possible. Will he? I don't think so. The problem is presidents really like the Patriot Act because they have a whole lot of power, right? A whole lot of power. So they don't like getting rid of that, right? Patriot Act, he can like bomb people. He can put people in Gitmo whenever he wants. They kind of like that. So I don't think they want to get rid of that. I don't think so. Look, I would like him to. I think the Patriot Act is horribly unconstitutional. And again, our judges have completely failed us. They should have immediately said that law's unconstitutional. You can't do that. You can't remove due process because you're scared. That's what the Patriot Act does. The Patriot Act says, I'm scared, so no due process. The Bill of Rights goes away. And our judges went, that sounds good. The judges who supposedly take an oath to the Constitution said, that's totally fine. But wait a minute, it's the Bill of Rights. Yeah, but you're scared. So you don't have to have that anymore. Oh, okay. That's what happened. Again, embarrassing, but sadly true. Let me walk down a couple of roads if I could. I'll keep going a couple more roads if I could, please. So I do think Trump will have some establishment people in his cabinet. I don't think he can get around it. I think he can. I think Stefanik, to Mike's point, she's absolutely establishment. And my worry about that. Okay, let me go back to the Defend the Guard piece. Defend the Guard is critical because it doesn't, if he pushes it, if the states push it, then he won't be able to just go to war anymore, which I don't want him to just go to war. I don't want any president to go to war. I want the Congress to take responsibility for their actions. I want the Congress to say, okay, we're going to go to war. We're going to vote on it, and the people are going to be responsible for war. We don't have kings who get mad at people and decide to drop bombs on people. Nope. The people decide because the people pay for it. People pay for it in blood and treasure. So if we have to pay for it, our Congress has to go, yes, I am prepared. And I will take the attacks and maybe lose my seat if I'm wrong. Okay, let's do that. We're not there. So I hope he does do it. That will limit very much, particularly because, as I talked about last night, we're not really recruiting very well at all. It's not a thing. We're not recruiting well at all. So now all of a sudden, I don't have my guard forces anymore and I have a small military. I can't fight 2-3 wars anymore. Good. I don't want us fighting 2-3 wars unless we declare war and the country gets behind it. I told you earlier in this show that we lost 5 soldiers in Mali. At least 2/3 of you didn't know that. Why? We didn't declare war on Mali. Why do we have troops in Mali? Exactly. You should know that because that might have been, what might have been? That was someone's loved one. Those 5 people were somebody's loved ones. They just lost. For what? We paid blood and treasure to fight in Mali? For what? Because the French Foreign Legion was failing there. That's the real reason why. The French Foreign Legion has been failing there, and the Russians have now taken over that area, and the Russians control lots of West Africa right now. Tons of it. Yes. People don't know that, but that's true. But guess what? If it's that big of a deal, then declare war. Do we need to declare war on Mali? Is Mali our enemy all of a sudden? I mean, they're not. But if they are, declare war. So that's why Defend the Guard matters tremendously, which then goes to the next piece, which is UN, NATO, foreign policy. The problem with Stefanik being the UN ambassador is she is an unconditional Israeli supporter. Unconditional. And many of you that support Israel. It's fine. I'm not against you supporting Israel. Support Israel if you want to. Whatever you want. Unconditional is stupid. Unconditional is bad. And that's what we have now. So now Israel can decide it wants to go to war with Iran. I guess we're going to war with Iran now. Israel's going to invade Lebanon. Guess we invade Lebanon now. There's already 100 Americans on the ground, or maybe even more now, already in Israel now. Already. We already got two fleets on standby in the Mediterranean Sea. 2. 1 is enough to cause devastation. We have 2. Again, blood and treasure we're paying for. We should only pay in blood and treasure if the Congress declares war, not because Israel declares war. If we honestly think Iran is our enemy, okay, have the Congress declare war. Then do it. They're our enemy. We should invade. Have Congress declare war. Let's start bringing bodies in. Let's do it. But not just because, well, we're just going to kind of support Israel and then kind of support these people and kind of support Ukraine and then kind of support these people and throw money and money and money and money and then eventually blood and then we get stuck in there and then Americans die and then we want to go to war. No. Is the Ukraine war the end of the world? People say it. If it is, declare war on Russia then. I'm not joking. If it's the big thing you're telling me it is, declare war on them. If Iran, the end of the world, declare war on them. If China's the end of the world, declare war. If it's the end of the world you tell me that I hear all the time, they're going to destroy America, they're killing America. Well, then why are we sitting here? Why do I got my thumb up my rear end? Just drop some Marines and take care of them. They're going to kill us all. That's what you keep telling me every week. Stop making me afraid. Take action. Or shut up. And make Congress responsible. They won't, because it's not true. It's not true. Nobody, let me say it again so you're clear. Nobody is going to invade us. Nobody. There is literally zero chance. I'm sorry, except for our southern border. So no army. How about that? Mike's probably mad at me right now. Yes. So I'll correct myself, Mike. No army is going to invade us. Not going to happen. Chinese are not going to invade us. Russians aren't going to invade us. Iranians aren't going to invade us. We're not getting invaded. The Mexicans aren't. Canadians aren't. No one's invading us. That is a fantasy. It is never going to happen. That's that Red Dawn fantasy. Never going to happen. Not a thing. Not a thing. The oceans are far too big. Our Navy's far too powerful. Not going to happen. Now, can they do other things? Yes. Can they do little actions here or there? Sure. Can they harass our Navy? Sure. All possible things. But guess what we did before? We declared war on that before. Yes, we did. Another history lesson. 1800s. Or was it late 1700s? Maybe late 1700s. I'm going to check me on this. We declared war on the Barbary pirates. That wasn't the country. That was pirates. We declared war on pirates. Why? Because they were tearing up our shipping industry. So we declared war on them and we attacked them. By the way, the shores of Tripoli. The Marines got off their ships and captured their city, which was Tripoli. From the halls of Montezuma, Mexico, to the shores of Tripoli, Libya, which is where the Barbary pirates were. That's where the Marines got off the ships and captured Tripoli. That's a real thing. And that was the Barbary pirates. Yes. So if that's the problem, declare war on the Houthis. Declare war on them. Have Marines land. Capture the area. Take it all out. What are we doing here? We're playing games to keep the military-industrial complex going. Are the Houthis really a threat? No. I mean, they're bothering us, but they're not going to invade us. Larry, they're going to stop all our trade. Then declare war on them and invade. I'm not joking. If it's as bad as you tell me it is, then take action or shut up. That's constantly my view. This is why declaring war is so important. We should be declaring war. That's the issue. Let me grab a couple more if I could. Thank you for the $5 piece. Does mainstream media know they're telling lies, especially the obvious ones? I was watching the John Oliver show today and it was so obnoxious. I can't watch John Oliver anymore. I haven't watched him in months. John Oliver is such a horrible shill. It's just embarrassing how bad he is. He is just a hit piece monster. He's a shame machine. He's a shame machine. That's why he's a one-sided shame machine. If you lean left, you are by default good. If you lean right, you are by default a horrible person, terrible, you're mean, you want to hurt people. There's no nuance at all. He is just a shame machine. I can't watch him. He's utterly obnoxious. I hope his show goes under. He's terrible. I can't watch him anymore. He's another one who thinks like the world's going to end in every 5 minutes. So do they know telling lies? The reality of it is, in their bubble, they think things are so bad that they validate their lies. There's a difference. It is a cognitive dissonance. Remember, the media is very different than it used to be. If you knew the media from, say, 50 years ago, being a reporter used to be something you didn't go to school for. I mean, maybe you went to a couple college classes here or there, maybe a degree, maybe, but not really. You busted your ass. You were someone who went out and found the story. You found the truth. Editors looked at you and said, where's the facts? Where's the facts? Where'd you quote this from? Those days are long gone. All the mainstream media is all full of elitists. I'm not joking. Every one of them went to Yale, Harvard, Cornell, Penn, all of them. Try to find one who didn't go to either an Ivy League school, an academy, or a high-level HSBC. I'm sorry. Yes. Did I say it wrong? Yeah. HBCU. Yes. I was going to say HSBC. That's a bank. Wrong one. Yes. Went to, of course, right? It's everywhere. So they're all elitists now. But when you're elitist, you actually don't have many problems. I don't mean to be cruel, but they can talk about things like, it's about democracy. Hey, homeboy, I can't pay my rent. What do I care about democracy? He said racist things. I want a job. My kid can't go to school. My kid's sick and I can't afford to pay for my kid. I don't care if he called me a name. Call me a name, but fix my kid. Call me all the names. Fix my kid first, and you can call me every name you want. It's fine. Fix my family, call me all the names. And I feel like the media doesn't understand that because they're all elitists. So all they know is, well, big picture stuff, and you people are too stupid because they're all elitists. So that's what I think it is. And Oliver's no different, another elitist. Hope I answered your question. Joseph, $5, thank you. How do we fix the lower court system in this country? I had this plan back in 2018, Joseph, and we should keep it. And it should be for all judges. There should be a Yelp system for judges. And judges have said that's against the law. It's not. It will take a governor and or mayor to put into place. You put into place the Yelp system. The problem right now is judges at the lower courts specifically, they are beholden to no one. And when I say no one, I mean no one. Most of them run unopposed, so there's no one to run against them. They're either elected or selected, and they're put into place by the party structure. So the Democrat and Republican parties, which are, again, not in the Constitution and unconstitutional, they're not in the Constitution. All our founding fathers said, don't have parties, it would just ruin anything. And we ignored them and created parties anyway. And they have ruined everything. So now they're only beholden to their parties. That's it. That's all. But Larry, what about the Constitution? Then they get removed. I'm not joking. So now the Democratic in the case of New York State, the Republican in the case of Oklahoma, they run the Senate, their local assembly, make a terrible law, and then it goes to the judges because someone sues them. And the judge goes, wow, this is utterly unconstitutional. And their party rep goes, you vote against this, you're gone. I'm not joking. You vote against this, you're gone. You're not judging me. I'm not judging. You're gone. And they go, oh, okay, it's good. Done. That's why the lower court system is garbage. They're accountable to no one except the party system. So if the party says is the case, they do. That's how it works. That's why sometimes the appellate court system, you get to appellate, then sometimes it gets shot down. Why? Those judges are older and been around for a while. So one of two things have happened. One, they're not going any further. They don't get promoted anymore. You can't get rid of them. They're not scared. They don't care. That's why usually, not always, but usually Supreme Court's better because they're untouchable. They don't care about the party structure. So they're actually usually, not always, but usually they're much more constitutional because they can be, right? They all want to be. That's what they grew up on. They love the law. For most judges, the law is a religion. Again, not joking. And they see themselves as priests, high priests of their religion. So they want to be pious. They want to be pious. They want to be pious to their religion. They want to be. But they can't be priests if they get removed by the party infrastructure. So either they have attained a level where they're not going any higher, right? So you're in an appellate court, you're not going any higher, you're not going to be promoted, you don't care. No one runs against you in your local place anyway, you don't care. So you'll be pious. Or they have gained their own personal power, political power. They have enough donors, they have the people, they've had enough favors back and forth, the unions behind them, stuff like that. So now they're political power within themselves, which is they don't care. You're some chump Democrat, Republican senator, he'll have you removed because he's more powerful than you. He has more money, whatever, more influence, and he'll be pious. So they want to be pious, but they often can't. So you fix it by making a Yelp system because the Yelp system gives the people the ability to remove the judge. The judge becomes more scared of the people than he does the party system. That's how you fix it. The judges should be more for the people they serve than the party system. If that happens, you repair it. That's how you do it. Hope I answered that question. So yes. Daniel says, not the shore of Lebanon, Tripoli. Correct. Thank you, my friend. Yes, Tripoli, which by the way, is in Libya. Still to this day, is in Libya. So, all righty. I went way off, didn't I? I went way off. Yes. Sarah says, thank you so much, Larry. Basically, blew my parents' mind. Oh, I'm glad. I'm very happy. Yes. Andrea says, because Congress just reinstated the Patriot Act, is it possible for Congress to bring it back up and get rid of it anytime they want? Here's the problem. Here's the second piece many of you don't know. How parties have destroyed our Congress. You might say to yourself, well, it's fine, Larry, because I'm going to run for Congress and I'm going to go up into Congress and I'm going to pass some laws. You might think that. That'd be amazing for you, Andrea. I hope you do that. You decide you're going to win. I don't know what state you're in. Sake of argument, you're in Illinois. I don't know. That's where you are. You're in Illinois today. So you decide to run for Congress in Illinois and you win. You are amazing, Andrea. And you head on up to Congress. Go, I got these all ideas. I'm going to get rid of the patriarch. I got this law that's awesome. All this stuff that's awesome. I got all these 3 things, and I write them all up, and I put them up, and it goes to the House, and the House goes, no. You go, what? No, I'm a congressman. I won the seat, and I've got these things we're going to vote on. They go, no. What do you mean no? Well, the parties made a rule, not a law, a rule that you can only vote on things the Speaker of the House agrees for you to vote on. Some of you, your mind just got blown. That's literally true. So the party system has made sure you cannot put anything up to vote unless, yes, the Speaker of the House agrees. So if the Speaker of the House doesn't want to vote on your bill, you don't get a bill voted on. The Speaker decides. One person controls all of Congress, whether it gets voted on or not. Who made that decision? The parties did. Not in the Constitution. Nowhere in the Constitution. They just made that up. And the judges went, that's fine. Again, our judges who step and go, no, that's not how that shit works. No, you can't do that. Party systems that are private, be very clear. Federal judges have already said, political parties are private entities. They've said this. It's already been there. Because to be clear, when Bernie got screwed over by the Democrats, Bernie sued and said, you can't do that. These are political parties. They have to give free and fair elections. They can't just decide I'm a bad guy. And the judges went, oh, yeah, they can. Yes, they can. They're private organizations. They can do whatever they want. That already happened. And in theory, I agree. Theoretically, they are private groups, get together. That's great. But then you can't run my government then, right? We, as taxpayers, pay for their primaries. Why? They're private organizations. They should pay for themselves. Why do I got to pay for it? They're private organizations. I don't have to pay for it. I have to, though. So they're private when they want to be private, and then they're public when they want to be public. So they can run our Congress, but they're private. How does that work? We have allowed a system to where 2 private companies, as announced by federal judges, private companies run our entire government. I wish I was joking. That's how it actually works. So could Congress bring it up and get rid of it? Of course they could. Will they? No, because the Speaker would never allow it. That's the reason. The Speaker would never allow it. But yes, by the Constitution, they could do it tomorrow. That ain't happening. But they could. No way. The Speaker would never be like, okay, yeah. So Johnson's going to be like, yep, put it up. Get ready to Patriot Act. No, never going to happen. But yes, that could happen. So Matt says, let's go back to being a country and a kingdom or an empire. I agree. Gene says, our government does not care about the Constitution. Correct. It just gets in the way. The Constitution gets in the way. Absolutely. Kim, thank you for being a member. I appreciate it. When I was a kid, seems like I remember an atomic bomb test that had people afraid it would cause a chain reaction with all the atoms blow up the world. Is this my memory or am I hallucinating? No. The test I think you're thinking about was the Hadron Colliders. Hadron. Someone correct me. It's the collider in Bern, Switzerland. That if that did the thing that it would create a chain reaction and like destroy reality or something like that, create a black hole and destroy something. I think that's what you meant. The atomic bomb test, it was not a chain reaction. That was the original fear back in the 40s. In fact, they talked about that in the movie. Oh my God, the movie came out with Oppenheimer. They just about that, the movie Oppenheimer, that was back in the 40s. They didn't know when they were doing the tests. So back in the 40s, when they were first doing the test, they thought there may be some type of chain reaction. They didn't know that it could destroy the entire world, whatever. That was the thought process back in the 40s. They figured out that wasn't true literally decades ago. So that's not an issue. The issue was with the Hadron. Someone help me out with that. What's the name of that collider? Whatever the collider is. CERN, not Bern. Thank you, CERN. I said Bern. Bern is a city in Switzerland. Thank you. Bern is a city in Switzerland, but it's CERN, not Bern. My mistake. Yes, that's correct. And Matt says, I think the Oppenheimer was worried about blowing up the atmosphere. There we go. That's what it was. Thank you, Super Weapons. Hadron Collider. That's what it was. There we go. Hadron Collider. That's what I was talking. I think that's what you mean. I believe that's what you mean. That was the issue they were concerned about. So yes. All right, super weapons. Thank you for $2, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Translation: Congress has no balls. No, not that. No. Congress is bought and paid for. The thing I didn't bring up, which I should be more detailed. All right, if I could bring this up real fast. About 50%, a little more than 50% of all of Americans' manufacturing is somehow tied to the military-industrial complex. Not all of it's weapons. Weapons is about 10% less. But other things, whether it's computer pieces, uniforms, other forms of equipment, trucks, whatever, right? About 50%. You're going to get rid of that. A lot of jobs. Don't bring back manufacturing. A lot of jobs. So it isn't they have no balls, but they're bought and paid for. So I get jobs in my state. I get jobs in my cities because military-industrial complex. So I'm not stopping that. I'm not getting rid of the Patriot Act. How's it going to keep bombing people? Someone's got to rebuild all those drones. All the ammo we sent to Ukraine. Somebody got to re-rake them bombs. All those Bradleys we can send over there. Someone's got to refill that. All those M1s. We're getting a new tank, by the way. The war in Ukraine, one of the reasons why the Army and Navy and Marine Corps just love that war in Ukraine, they've learned so much. Remember, Americans haven't fought a land war in decades. We don't do that. We know how to fight insurgents. We are good at insurgents. America has become amazing at insurgents. We're good at fighting insurgents. That's a good thing. We didn't figure that one out. I mean, we lost thousands of dead Americans to figure it out, which is terrible. But we figured it out. We're really good at insurgents now. We didn't know that. We didn't know World War III would actually be World War I. Trench warfare with thousands upon thousands of drones and massive movement of troops non-existent. In the Ukraine war, they're attacking towns with like 40 guys. Unheard of before. Be at least the company, if not a battalion, would take over. 40 guys. Because you can't put any more together. You're blown up by drones. They can see everything. And they use what we thought of as infantry fighting vehicles. They would come in, stay with the troops, fight with the troops, lay down machine guns, lay down fire. No, they're basically fire and forget them. I'm not joking. You take your Bradley or your infantry fighting vehicle, whatever, your BMP if you're Russian or whatever. You rush it as far as you can. It gets blown up because it will be blown up because there's drones and tow missiles. It's blown up as far as you get. Then the guys at the back come out and run. It's blown up. It's it. They spend more money in Ukraine war fixing blown up stuff than getting new stuff. It's fire and forget them. These are IFVs. They're fire and forget now. So you send 10 of them. 8, 9 get blown up. Troops get out and attack. Hopefully they win. It's all infantry versus infantry. There's hardly any tank on tank because tanks will get blown up by drones or get blown up by guided missiles, whatever. They'll all get blown up. And then whoever wins the area goes and recaptures the tanks, puts them back up, builds them back up again, and they rush again. Tanks get hit. Tanks get blown up 4, 5, 6, 10 times. This is why the Russians have a better chance at the Ukrainians. Here's the reason why. The Russians all have the same equipment. It's all Russian. So as they're repairing stuff, it's all same spare parts, same spare tracks, same spare everything. But Ukrainians got German this, American this, Ukrainian that, Polish this, British this, French that, all different parts. So they can't recycle units as much. And Ukrainians are losing land. Losing land means, well, what ton of land you lost? Well, that's where your vehicle was. The Russians got it now. The Russians got your vehicles. Another reason why they're losing. So yes, but of course, we don't mind because for every Bradley the Russians capture, well, somebody got to rebuild it. Got to make some more Bradley. We don't use Bradleys anymore, but whatever. Got to use the next thing. So we're getting a new tank coming up here for the Army, and the Marine Corps is getting rid of all the tanks, all of them. Marine Corps not gonna have any tanks anymore. You may go, what? No tanks. No need. They just get blown up. So you're gonna spend whatever $20 million on a tank. It gets blown up by a rocket that costs 10 grand. Don't make any damn sense. They stopped doing it. Doesn't make any sense. So, and you can't, stealth doesn't exist anymore because drones are everywhere. So they see everything. Ukraine war has taught Americans a lot. So that's why we don't mind. We don't mind that hundreds of thousands of Russians and Ukrainians get killed because we learn stuff. God, it sounds so horrible when I say it, doesn't it? It does sound horrible. Anyway, Rise ticket, thank you. $50 for this one. All right, right. All right. Army sleeve rolls look better than Marine sleeve rolls. Ha, happy Veterans Day, brother. I don't want to say anything. I'm about to go get my jacket now. See, I'm getting my blouse right now. See? Okay. I tell you what, right? They look nice. See? That's where I'll go. They look nice. I'm gonna come over with a picture and let people decide. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Talking trash. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Ron Green, $10. Hi, Missy. Hey, what's going on, Ron? Good to see you. Peace Logic. All seems so depressing. Give us some hope, Larry. There is hope. There is hope. And the example I will give you, believe it or not, it'll sound weird, but hear me out. Hadrian. Yes, we're doing history lessons all day, Pinkerbell. You asked for it, you're getting them. Hadrian. Some of you may know who Hadrian was. He was a Roman emperor. Hadrian figured out, this ain't working. We got to stop invading everybody. We got to stop all this stuff. And he solidified the empire. He built, of course, Hadrian's Wall. So he built a wall to keep the bad people out from Roman Empire. Yes, he built a wall, Hadrian's Wall, right? It's basically what, I mean, it's not exact, but it basically what breaks up Scotland and England. I'm exaggerating, but it's about that. It's about that. It's where Hadrian's Wall is, right? He said, you guys are Scots, the crazy people. We're the cool people. We're the English. We're the cool people. I'm doing air quotes. We're the cool people. So we're going to stay here. We're Romanized. And you crazy people up there in Scotland, you guys stay behind the wall. That's basically what happened. And he did it all over. He traveled all around, stopped fighting, all that good stuff. So we have a chance of a Hadrian coming. And I think that's the answer for America. To chill out in the empire, stay where we are, stop building up internally and fixing ourselves. There is hope. And the advantage that the dream team has come in, the Bobby Kennedy Jr., the Tulsi Gabbard, I think does give us some hope. There is some hope, Peace. There is. I'm just telling you how things work. And that's the issue. I am telling you how things work. All right, hold on. Hold on. All right. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Hold on. See if I can find them. All right. Okay. Yes. All right. I think I can find them here. Okay. This here. See if I can find this. That's one. There we go. All righty. Let me see if I can get this one over here. And I will show you something that you may or may not enjoy. I don't know. All right. Oh, hold on. No, that's not what I want. I'm screwing up here. Let me fix it here. I'm going to fix it right now. All right. Sorry for that. I just want to show you this real fast if I could. This is, boom. That is a Marine Corps sleeve, right? Rolled where you see the outside. That's a Marine Corps sleeve, right? I give you the piece of one right here. Do it right there. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. They gave me a commercial. I apologize. And I messed it up too. Okay, I am messing up today. I apologize. But that is a Marine Corps sleeve. The Army sleeve is different, obviously. The Army sleeve is a little bit different. When the Army rolls, if I can find a good Army sleeve for you, that's a Marine sleeve. Now I can't find the Army sleeves. All right, because they're not that cool, is why. That's the reason. They're not that cool. So I was telling you. All right, can I find the Army sleeve so that you guys know the difference between the two? All right, Army's a little bit different. I think I found one. Yes. Okay, I found an Army sleeve. So you guys not be mad at me. I did find an Army sleeve. All right. Here is an Army sleeve. So you can see the difference between the two. And you tell me which one is better. That is an Army sleeve. See the difference? The Army sleeve. It's the cami is there too. The Marine Corps sleeve, there's no cami there. That's the difference. My piece I'm saying already is I like mine better. That's all. There we go. All righty. Austin for saying $10. Did you know having only 435 members in the U.S. House is unconstitutional? Yes, I do know that. Constitution says that one representative for every 30,000 people, not 770,000 people. Look up 335 Permanent Appointment Act of 1929. Again, they made up rules. They made up rules. That is correct. They just said, we're going to decide this. They just made it up. That's what actually happened. They just made it up. So yes, once again, just made up. Anyway, all righty. Let me get through that piece if I could. All right, I went through so many things. I'm sorry. Kintsugi, armor sleeves better. Okay, I don't like you anymore. Kim, marine sleeves needed. See, there we go. Yes, there we go. Bad picture of army on purpose? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Matt goes, Larry found some buff ass dudes. I did. 100% true. Absolutely. I did that. 100%. Absolutely. Yes. I totally did that. You caught that. Yes. Anyway, just thought it was being cool. So Josh says, thank you for being a voice of reason. Oh, thank you. Sam says, we love our history lessons. I appreciate it tremendously. I'm trying my best to make it the best I possibly can. So yes. Larry is so diplomatic. Yes, but I did kind of, yes. But yeah, it's true. But I did kind of make it look cooler. So anyway, that's what I was. Anyway, here we go. Unwashed asks, Larry, what do you think Tulsi Gabbard would fit best in the administration cabinet? Obviously, she's an Army officer. She's been in the front line. She's been in combat zones. Anything to do with that, I think is going to be great for her. Like, she gets it. She's been there. The military respects her, knows who she is. I think any of that would work, right? I think any of that would work. I like any of that. So yeah, anywhere she can go in there, I think would be good for her. Again, she'd be respected, all those things. Joseph, thank you for being a member. A client of mine does all major marketing for Goldman Sachs, graduated journalism school. Interviewed with New York Times and WAPO, who told him he was going to write. No journalism involved. So he joined Goldman Sachs. Yes. Yes. No journalism involved. Yes. Remember who the people who are in front of on TV, they're not necessarily smart or good. They are attractive people who can read. Yes. Should be three things: attractive, able to read, and play the party line because you're elite. So being elitist. Being elitist who's attractive and can read. Done. You win. That's how that works. Yes. Let's see here. Roy says lower courts were reviewed by higher courts. Who yeah, that's my point. Agreed. While the Supreme Court's answerable to nobody except the corrupt ones like Thomas, who takes millions of gifts from Republican donors, are beholden to them by their religious beliefs, impermissible under the Constitution, but they don't care. Yes. So yes. What are you gonna say? I think that's true. I'm not gonna fight you on that one, Roy. No fights. Yes. Dao says there's lots of room for improvement when it comes to our government showing its appreciation and respect for veterans. There are countless stories of disabled vets being screwed by our government. The problem is you create military industrial complexes. You even create veteran industrial complexes. You create a series of people who just keep servicing, not helping. That's the issue. Yes. Mike says old journalists had English degrees. Yes, so they could write. Nothing else was needed. True then and now. Some of the best reporting is now independent, and that's less biased often. Agreed. Or something I prefer, Mike. I'm not that unhappy with bias if it's announced that makes any sense, right? I mean, I think we all have our biases. I'm clearly libertarian, obviously, right? But I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve. So you know where I'm coming from immediately. Like, you know where I'm coming from. And this is why I prefer, this may sound crazy, but I prefer MSNBC to CNN. I tell you this all the time. Why? MSNBC is openly left. Just like, that's it. We're Democrats. That's who we are. Done deal. CNN pretends they're not. And that bothers me. Fox is, we're righties. That's who we are. We're righties. Okay. CNN pretends they're not. Just say it. And it's better when at least I know where you're coming from. So it's why I think some of the shows that are doing well in independent news are those where there's like someone who's kind of leans left, someone who leans right, similar to the breaking points of the world where clearly Sagar leans right, clearly Crystal leans left. So that back and forth actually winds up getting more, it winds up becoming less biased, if that makes any sense, because you're hearing both sides. So it winds up evening itself out a whole lot better than just Sagar talking his side or Crystal talking her side. It becomes better when they're both doing it. So, yes. Mike goes on to say, there isn't a will in the nation to declare any war. Good. Far too much hate of America from institutional education, but in my opinion, action must include ownership. If we act, yes, commonwealths in the Middle East. Look, if you're telling me that commonwealths are a problem, I'm sorry, the Houthis are a problem in the Middle East. If you tell me that the Houthis are a problem in the Middle East, then declare war on them. That's my only issue. And let's do it. That's what I'm talking about. So jump on board or don't, right? So let's see here. Kim says, is the hill two-sided? They're fighting. Sometimes. When they had Brianna Joy Gray on, and I know a lot of people didn't like her. I know that. I happen to like her. And I like her because I think she does argue from good faith, even when people disagree with her. I think some of the other people they've had on that show don't have good faith arguments. I think Brianna Joy Gray, even if you disagree with her, I think she actually believed what she said, came at you with the facts as she saw them, and I think she was that way. And her and Robbie got into some serious back and forth. But you got to hear, right? You got to hear. Yes. So anyway, let's see here. Oh, people are asking me about Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin is going to become the EPA chief. Look at that. Good for him. He was the smartest guy in the room, clearly, in 2022. He set himself up for a great deal, and he is now set. Went from congressman to running for office to running a PAC to now becoming EPA chief. Well done. Well done. That's all I'm saying. Well done. Good for him. No hate. Played the game well. No hate at all. Good for him. But, it does. Yeah, it does. It does, though, perhaps open a pathway for, say, some other guy to run for governor now. I'm not saying who. I'm saying it does open a path for somebody that might want to do that. So, yeah. John says, hit the like button. I got to ask you guys, please. I ask you, I bug you. I know I do. Please hit the button known as like. It does matter. Please do so. If you haven't hit it, you are telling me you don't like me. And I'm sitting here giving you all kind of history lessons and stuff. Do so, please. If you're watching on Twitter, please share this. I'll retweet this, repost this, whatever the case may be. If you're watching on Facebook, share it too. Doesn't matter. Click that like button on there. Please subscribe if you're on YouTube. Every subscription matters. It means YouTube says, oh, he must be doing something well. He's getting subscribers. So do that. You know who likes that? Mr. Rhythm. Al Gore Rhythm. Likes it very much. Please do that. Follow me on Facebook if you can. Also, thank you for the super chats, guys. Everyone counts. You can also become a member if you want to. Click that join button on either Sharpe Way or Larry Sharpe. $29 per month keeps me going. I do more of this and less actual working, which I got to keep working still. That's why I'm late sometimes. Sometimes you see I'm late. You wonder why I'm late? Because I'm working. I got to go pay my bills. We all got to pay bills, right? Yes, got to go pay bills. Me too. We all got to pay bills. And I'm me on top of it. So, yes. That's what we keep doing. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I could before we... Okay, there we go. Roy goes on to say, Ivy Leagues attract elites who are so smart they don't need to learn anything. Ooh, yes. Hence the riots on campus because they don't question the hateful oppressors / oppressed narrative. This narrative, Roy, you've hit something. It's a big deal. I understand why people have that narrative. It's easy. It's black and white. Easy. Who's bigger? You? You're the oppressor? You are wrong. Hey, but here's history and stuff. Get that out of my face. I don't want to see history and rules. Get out of culture. No. Who's bigger? Wrong. Done. Stop it. It does make life easier. You don't got to think. Simple. I know I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. And I say this because we're talking about veterans. My first real job was as a Marine, right? When I was 17, 18 years old as a Marine, life was easy, right? Black and white. Ronald Reagan told me these people are bad. They're bad. Why? Because Ronald Reagan said so. Done. My first commander in chief. Easy day. Done deal. Why they bad? Doesn't matter. Ronald Reagan said. Okay. So you have to go kill those people. Okay. Why? Because Ronald Reagan said. Easy. I don't got to think. It's all good. America was the good guys no matter what. And the bad guys were whoever Reagan told me to. And I know it may sound funny, but having a black and white lifestyle like that, you know what side you're on every time. It's easy. I think a lot of young people just do that. I'm not saying it's right, Roy, at all. I'm just saying I get why, because I felt it, similar. Yes. So Garrett, my friend, thank you again. Gifting 5 memberships. Guys, take advantage of memberships. Please jump on board. Grab those memberships. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Garrett. Peace Logic, thank you for $5. Can you comment on Trump eliminating the Department of Education and what that means, good or bad? I was going to do someone asked me to do a show on education. So I will, but let me cover the reason why this is a good thing. Let me explain why. People think it's crazy, Larry. How can it be bad? The reason why it's bad, some of you are going to say to yourself, Larry, I'm so disappointed in our school system. We don't teach civics anymore. Okay. Well, also I'm sad because we don't teach shop or we don't do home ec. It's terrible. We don't do these things. These are all bad, tough things, right? We don't do these things. Okay. I got it. I understand it completely. But why don't we? Because the federal government gives a bunch of money to each state. See, the Department of Education actually has been around since the 1860s, but it was just one thing. It was basically just a repository for information. And I was okay with that. Jimmy Carter set up in 1979, I think 79. And all of a sudden it started to have power of the purse. It will give money, or it won't give money if you don't do what it says. What does the Department of Education care about? 2 things. Number 1, college placement. Number 2, standardized testing. Well, for college placement, is it good if your kid goes to shop class? No. For college placement, is it good if your kid goes up and gets a job? No. For college placement, is it good if your kid go to trade school? No. None of that is encouraged. One of the reasons why we need so many foreign workers and migrants is because we've taught our kids for the past 50 years, you have to go to college, trade schools for bad kids, trade schools for dumb kids, don't go to trade school, don't learn trades. Why? Because the federal government has told us so and pays us to do so, to create an incentive to not go to those trade schools. Yes, that's what they did it. So why don't we do home ec? That's not in a test. Why not civics? Not in a test. The tests are in 2 things, English, math. So what do we learn more of? English and math. Yes. The federal government forces you to have no control locally over your school because they give you so much money. In New York State, it's like $7 or $8 billion now every year. I think it's $7 billion. $7 billion in New York State. I mean, your state is whatever is billions, whatever the number is. It's billions. Yeah. Not just that. The state wants you to tell them what they're doing and make sure you're doing the thing. Someone's got to do that. What does that mean? More administrators. Yes, we need more administrators. But wait a minute. What do we need administrators for? For the kids? No. To keep the federal government happy. Yes. Someone's got to keep the federal government happy. So you need more administrators. Why do you need 75 administrators? Keep the federal government happy. That's the reason why. Because they order it. You must have a so-and-so. You must have a so-and-so. You must have a blah, blah. If you don't, I'm going to give you the money. Damn, no more money? Yes. Absolutely. They'll give you more. So now you have more. Now we have parts in New York State where there are more administrators than there are teachers. I wish I was joking. Nope. More administrators than teachers. Why? Federal government. Yes. The federal government says you need to shut down your schools because of whatever reason. Why? We don't want to shut schools down. If you don't, we won't give you money. We'll shut schools down. Yes. You have no control over your local school because the federal Department of Education exists. That's the reason. That's the reason why when you have school boards, nobody can do anything. That's why the federal government decides. Well, we want to make, how about all the issues we have with the boys and girls doing all these different things that people aren't happy about? Well, you would say, well, local community can control that. No, federal government does. They don't give you money. Yes. That's why it is good to get rid of it. Literally, from the beginning of our nation until 1980, we did not have a federal Department of Education. Yet somehow Americans learn how to read and write. I went to school before 1980. I learned how to read and write and everything. I could function in society. Can our kids function in society now? They can't. They can't. We went from first in the world to like 20-something now. I forgot what number we are. 25, 27, whatever we are. We're 20-something now in the industrialized nations. 20-something from first since Department of Education, federal Department of Education, since that. Is there anyone who would believe, who would say honestly, since 1980, education's been getting great? Anybody could say that? Nobody. Nothing but gotten worse. More bureaucratic, more control, more problems. Only worse. Only worse. There is no need for it. It's a huge boondoggle. It controls and destroys our local schools. We can fix our schools at a state level easily. Easily. We can fix that actually at a community level if we wanted to. At a county level, we could. But fine, state level. Yes. Nothing but bad. It is. Getting rid of it, nothing but good. Nothing but good. It's the right answer. If you wanted to keep it as it was a central repository for information, fine. I don't mind if you want to do that. The war's not going to end, right? You keep like 2 librarians there, and that's all it is. It's fine if you want to. The war's not going to end. Otherwise, let it go. No worries whatsoever. There is nothing in the Constitution that says the federal government controls education. That's also made up. The Constitution does not say, and the federal government will control education. That is made up. Not a thing. Also just made up. So it needs to go away. I hope I answered your question. Rhetoric, thank you for the $5. It's time for 5D chess, Larry. Time to run for governor as Democrat. Okay. I appreciate the idea, Rhetoric. I do. I appreciate the idea. There is zero chance that I could win a Democratic primary. Zero chance. I could never win a Democratic primary. Sounds like a great idea. Sounds amazing. No way I ever win a Democratic primary. No way. I would either have to go independent or run as a Republican. I could win a Republican primary. It's possible. I mean, I'm not saying I could, but Zeldin's gone now. So with Zeldin gone, I might have a shot at winning a Republican primary. So maybe Republican primary or independent. It's impossible to win a Democratic primary. Impossible. So yes. Joseph says, thank you for $2. Larry, show up the therapist for governor, but not legal therapist because that'd be against the law. You need a license in New York State to be a therapist because whatever. So because whatever stuff is. So yes. And then John says, while we spend more money per person than any other country. Yes. Correct. Wright says, Larry's idea for education is the best ever. It annoyed me so bad when we talked about it on Joe Rogan. Rogan didn't get it. Yes. For those of you who saw when I was on Rogan, yes, I had an argument. Joseph says that. I had an argument on Rogan for education. He was the problem. And to be clear, this is my fault. And I tell the story often, but I'll just say it again to make sure it's clear. This was like September, maybe October or whatever, maybe September of 2018. I'm running for governor. I've been running for a year. I'm crossing New York State. That's all I'm doing is just crossing New York State, working in New York State. Crazy, doing events every day, 3-4 a day. It's madness. And my team says, hey, you're going on Joe Rogan. I went, Joe Rogan? They went, yeah. And this is how brain dead I was. I went, the Man Show guy? I literally said, that's what I actually said. Like, no, not the Man Show. Well, yeah, it was a Man Show, but not the Man Show guy. His podcast. I was like, oh, is that good? They're like, yes, it's great. I was like, oh, okay, great. I'm going there. When am I going? Like, whatever time was, forgot what it was. And then I had to he was in California then. Now he's in Texas, but then he was in California. So I fly to California, get there in the morning because I'm campaigning still. So I go by myself. I don't want to bring anybody. I was going there. I'm going to leave. So I go there, show up at his place. I'm early. He's late. So I'm sitting in the green room. He comes in. Literally, this is what he says. He goes, Sharpe here? I'm like, yeah, right here. He goes, great. I go inside, sit down, put the headphones on. He goes, 3, 2, 1, Larry Sharpe. That's how it started. No prep, no nothing. Sharpe here, and then now we talk. That's what happened. So here's the problem. I had been talking to only New Yorkers for months. Guy's California. There's people across the entire country. He was worried about unions and such. And I didn't get to tell him, no, dude, this isn't Kansas. The unions in America and in New York are fine, right? The teachers unions, Teachers aren't wealthy in New York, but they make a living wage, right? The unions are strong in New York. The teachers union is fine. It does very well. Teachers make average 70, 80 grand a year in New York, a living wage. They're not buying their fifth house. They're not rich, but they make a living wage, right? They're not starving. Teachers are not starving in New York State. They are living. In certain states, they're starving. Like you struggle in a place like Kansas and such. And he was thinking that, well, you can't do teachers because they're going to be starving, a problem. And I didn't just go, dude, it's New York. They're not starving. In fact, our administrators make six figures. All of them make six figures, right? Some of them, there's administrators in New York State that make $400,000 a year. I wish I was joking again. I'm not joking. They make $400,000 a year as administrators in New York State. They'll be fine. They will be fine. And he didn't get that. And that's why we had that problem, because he wasn't getting it. And I wasn't thinking, oh, he doesn't get it. He's not there. So yes. Anyway, so Shelley says, I didn't learn anything in home economics. I already learned it at home in 4-H and Pioneer Girls. We need more than our teachers. Oh, good. You could have taught other people. That's interesting. Thank you for that. All righty. Peace laws, thank you for the $5. I understand that it's almost impossible to get rid of bad teachers. What's up with that? Yes. What I've said before, right? I am not against public sector unions, and many libertarians are. I'm not. What I'm against is the fact that they negotiate with the wrong people, right? And that was one of my issues. You're negotiating with people who it's not their money, right? If I'm a private sector union, and Peace, you have a company, and me and Garrett and Joseph, we're all part of our union. We're negotiating with you. It's your money and your business back and forth, right? So we negotiate. Fair. We have a union and you deal with it. Totally fair. Unions have a right to exist. The problem is public sector unions don't do that. They negotiate with the governor. Well, the governor's money. He doesn't care. In fact, he's in their pocket. He wants them to vote for him. It's terrible negotiation. Public sector unions, everything should go to a ballot initiative. That's all. Just negotiate with the people. That solves three problems. Number one, now the governor isn't beholden to you, right? You're not beholden to the governor. Conflict of interest, gone. Not just that, you can't bribe anybody because they don't control your cash. The people do. It would have to be a marketing campaign to the people, right? Because you can give all the money to the governor you want to, or to a assemblyman, doesn't matter. They don't control your money. Why would you bother? It takes the political power away from unions. Grossly simple. But lastly, now the people actually have some control over what they get. Why not? They might go, then, well, what if they just screw over the unions? Why would they? There's tons of union workers in New York. Everyone in New York State knows a union worker. If it's not in their damn family, they all do. A lot of union workers in New York State. You know one, they're part of your family. Why would you screw them over? But there's a difference now. Now you gotta deal with, say, your sanitation union. Well, what if your town doesn't like the fact that the sanitation gets picked up on Tuesday mornings? You like it Monday morning. What if you want that? Doesn't matter. You have no choice. They decide. What are you gonna do? Get mad? Well, now you got to vote on their raise. You got to vote on their raise now. That's now a ballot initiative. You going to change to Tuesday now? Yes. Of course. Now all of a sudden, your services that the people have control of their own services. It's negotiated back and forth. Change that, public unions are fine. That's the problem with public unions. Public sector unions should be ballot initiatives of the people. It's the people's money. That's as fair as the private sector. You change that, that's fine. And what would happen? Would bad teachers be there? No. Because again, now it's my money. Ballot initiative goes, oh, no, they're gone. I'm not paying for those bad teachers. The people would have control. You now also get rid of the federal government out of this. So the federal government can't protect them legally, which they should not be able to. It should be a state issue. So the state could deal with it if it wants to, and the people could vote against it. So we're going to change your unions. What are you going to change? The bad teachers got to go. That can be part of your new union plan. No, it isn't. Then we're not voting your raise. You don't get raised then. Sorry. The people decide. We want those bad teachers gone, or you don't get your raise. Things change. So that's how you fix public sector unions. And I've been talking about this for years. That's how you actually fix it. So yes. Joseph says, great points, Larry. Oh, thank you. Garrett says 100%. Yes, that's how you fix it. It's an easy way to repair it. It can be done. So if you do that, it would change everything. It would change how things work. It changes it gets rid of some of the corruption, all those things. It absolutely can be repaired. And people don't think about that, but it absolutely can be repaired. So, yes. Guys, if you like what I'm telling you, click the button known as like. Share it if you can. Subscribe as I asked you. You know I get shadow banned horribly. The YouTube gurus do not like me, and they shadow ban me terribly. They go for all super chats. And memberships. You see people give memberships? Grab them if you can. Every membership counts. Please do so. All right. I think I covered most things I want to do. So one thing I want to cover. One more thing I'm going to cover, which is I do have a worry. And this goes back to defend the guard. If Trump actually wants to start deporting, my worry is he'll use the military. That is my worry. I do not think mass deportation is a good idea at all. I don't like it. I think it cannot go well. I think it will not go well. And I can see him using the military, and I can see it goes even worse. I am not happy about this. I am worried. I don't know if it'll happen, but the last thing I want is a bunch of guard members getting shot up by cartel thugs trying to get rid of people. I can see that fighting history could be terrible. I am worried about that. So I am worried about that. Yes, Kinsugi's with me. I don't either. The whole idea makes me uneasy. I agree. Heaven smiles on you, says so much info, Larry. Thank you so much. I'm glad you agreed it. Yes, I agree. Yes. So, yeah, Wright agrees too. I'm worried. That is a concern. And I feel like that's going to give more veterans PTSD already now here in our own world. Tom Holman said he has retired military cops, etc., ready to volunteer. Yeah, he's already on. Yes. They mass imported. Point taken, I see. Point taken. Yes, you're not wrong. This just doesn't feel good. Look, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope there is some type of way to make it work to where it's not a disaster. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope next month or 2 months, 3 months now, 4 months from now, whenever it happens, 4 months from now, that I come back on and go, guys, boy, was I wrong. This was nice and orderly, and we don't have blood in the streets. I hope that's true. I am worried that it's not. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Lorenzo says, I heard Eisenhower tried it, but it backfired. No, it has happened before, right? But it wasn't at this many, and it was a different world in that regard. So, yeah. ICE says 6.1 billion of taxes spent just in New York migrants. They are currently busing migrants. I see. It is I see. I understand. I see. I do. And it doesn't mean that going house to house with military is the answer. That's my worry. It doesn't mean going house to house is the answer, right? I feel like it's the wrong answer. That is my worry. That is my worry. So, Peace Logic goes on. Thank you for being a member, Peace. My concern, too, is on deporting. Thoughts on the person that Trump hired for deportation? I forgot his name. They already talked about it. Yes. Yeah, they already talked about it. Yes. It's that guy. Oh, my God. What's that guy? She just showed up. I forgot his name. Hanson? Not Hanson. Whatever that guy's name is. Yes, they already showed him. So, yeah, that is my worry, is that it will go badly. Thank you, Tom Homan. My worry is it will go badly. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. So Matt says, how about an easy solution when they arrest an illegal, they actually deport them instead of releasing them back to the pong? That would work. I like that a whole lot better, Matt. I do. See, that one, I like that one better. That's a better answer in my view. That's better. That is a better one, right? But I'm not sure where we go with this. So Adrian says, I like to see DACA kids and their families get citizenship. I don't know how they can round up so many people and have that come in the past 4 years. I agree. I mean, we've had so many come in. I don't know how you do it. See, something like this might be a better way. Maybe it's something like you find the DACA kids and you start giving them a pathway to citizenship, whatever that pathway is. You use the private sector, not the public sector, because that just puts everybody else back in line. Use the private sector to do it. You allow them to do it, and you let the DACA people pay themselves. They pay themselves. They all got jobs. They pay themselves. We don't pay for it, right? The DACA kids and their families, they pay for it, and they pay for it privately. They do it. And as they move through, you start seeing others want to do it too. And then now the DACA kids who are also in that communities start telling us who the bad guys are because they're no longer afraid because now they're citizens. And they start telling the bad guys, then Matt's idea comes to play and they start arresting these people and they start going away because right now they don't want to do it. Right? If you're in that community, you don't want to turn in somebody because you're going away too. In fact, you're both getting arrested in the same place and they're going to take care of you in prison. And you know what I mean by take care of you. That's what happened in prison. So no, I think maybe something like that plan, right? A combination of what Adrian's talking about and what Matt's talking about. That might be a better plan, right? Because they can come in voluntarily, as IC says, right? Get some pathway to citizenship and then say, hey, the bad guys are right here, right? They're in my community. But now that I'm legal and I'm not going to get deported because I'm on my legal pathway to citizenship that I'm paying for, right? Then those are the bad guys. So they can go after the bad guys. I think there's probably a better style of doing that. That is my issue, right? I think that may be a better one. That is my other issue, right? If they don't, yeah. Anyway, I worry because Lorenzo says it right. This will backfire against Trump if handled badly. That's true. It will. If this fails, if it becomes nasty, it could easily backfire. I completely agree. And again, I don't want the military involved. So on this Veterans Day, I will say, guys, I think that there is a chance that we can have an Hadrian pop up and we can stop being an empire. I think we should worry about the Patriot Act and try to get rid of it if we can. And I think we should show respect to our military by making sure that if we're going to send them into harm's way, it is not because some president is mad or thinks something's good or some Secretary of Defense does, or we care about some other country more than us, but because Congress takes responsibility and declares war. If we're going to pay in blood and treasure, Congress must take responsibility for this. That's the issue, right? Lunatic, yes, you are correct, my friend. Thank you for $2. Trump's cabinet better not create more. Yes, I agree. I don't want that, right? Now, to be fair, Trump didn't start any new wars. Give the man credit where credit. He didn't end them, but he didn't start any new ones, so I'll give him credit. Let's hope he follows on that and doesn't create any more. Let's hope he does that. And then hopefully starts drawing down. That will be great. I hope he can repair the VA, make it better. Again, give him credit. He made it better under his rule. He made it better. Let's hope he can keep doing that and make it better yet again. That would also be nice. Another piece is I hope we do actually take care of the Defend the Guard. I think that will be better for us in our National Guard. And the last piece I'll bring up to remember, which I started with and I'll end with, is if you have a veteran in your life and you think that they may be struggling because they're going internally in some way, shape, or form, please do not show them pity. Don't tell them you're worried about them. Don't say they're in trouble. Don't say, come talk to me. Tell them that you need them and include them in your life purposefully. Purposefully include them in their life. If they're doing fine, they'll act fine. No worries. All good. Move on. Not just because some vet is, being introverted doesn't mean they're in trouble, but they might be. If you think they are, if they start coming to you, you'll know. Include them again. Remember, no pity. You're not worried about them. You need them. You want them involved in your community. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not joking. If you say, hey, I'm very serious. Hey, I'm not sure I need to move my microwave from the left side of the house to the right side of the house. Can you help? I'm not joking. If he's not in trouble or she's not in trouble, they'll laugh at you. If they're in trouble, they will eagerly help. Yeah. When you need me to come over? Can you come over tomorrow? Yeah. They'll come over tomorrow and they'll move your microwave from one side to the other. Yes, I'm not joking. They want to feel part of it. They want to feel useful. They want to feel valuable. Just invite them in. That's it. And if you're wrong, life is good. Move on. If you're right, you may have made somebody feel a whole lot better. Peace. Thank you for the $2. Will Trump pardon Snowden? I'm unsure. I feel better now that Pompeo and Haley are not there. So I was at maybe 50%. Now I'm 75% yes. Because I do think that the neocons, they want Snowden gone forever, never come back ever. They can't stand him. But others don't. So I just went from 50-50 to about 75% yes. with those being gone. So I do think he will now, because he's not bringing the neocons back in. I think yes. Hope I answered that question. Guys, I'll let you all run. I will be on my radio show tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern if you want to call in at WYSL out of Rochester, New York at 1 p.m. I think I'll do a show tomorrow at 7. I'm not sure, but I think I'll be able to do a show tomorrow night. If not, I will do one for sure on Wednesday night. That is for sure. By the way, please, as always, after this is over, put a comment afterwards, because afterwards, you know who comes by and checks? Mr. Rhythm comes by. Al Gore Rhythm. He comes by to check. So put that down. I appreciate. I will see you all